Shalom, Israel. This is the Feast of Purim, Israelite School, UPK, 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander Yohana. We have in class here at 3532 North Keystone Avenue, Indianapolis, Indiana. All right. We teach these classes 5 days a week. Today is a special day. Today is a feast day of the Lord. Okay. It's found in the book of Esther. All right. It's a day of memorial, a day that we feast and eat. It's a day that we feast and eat to the memory of something our ancestors did in the past, which is in the scriptures, that the Lord made so as a memorial. Okay. Hold on one sec. Make sure you hit that like button and share the class. Okay. All right. Hey, Shalom, Trevon Sparks, checking in Texas, in the building. Fort Worth. Glad to hear y'all had got electricity back down there. All right. Definitely important that you guys get electricity. All right. So, finishing sharing. Okay. All right. We want to remember all the feast days of the Lord. Okay. The feast days of the Lord are very important. Okay. That's where our culture is. That's where our history is. Okay. The Edomites, the Caucasian, the oppressor, the devil, they have their Memorial Days. You have July 4th, and they go all out on July 4th for their Memorial Days. Okay. What's another oppressor's Memorial Day? They have okay. Let's get to scriptures. All right, all this stuff is found in the book of Esther. All right. Glad everybody could join us, you know what I mean, in the memorial. Get out your plates of food, get out your things, and all of that. Okay. Okay. Let's get to it. Like how Captain Kai said in this song. Make sure my head uncovered. Okay. So yesterday we went over the beginnings of Esther, and how it transpired. If you don't know, oh, got somebody at the door. All right, hold off for a second. All right, go get that person at the door. Cage, 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 cage. Oh, all right, Israel, we back at it. Okay, so yeah, so like I said, the oppressor, he has his Memorial Days. He has plenty of Memorial Days where he remembers July 4th, Pearl Harbor, 9/11, World War II, World War I, Veterans Day. He's got all his memorials. But this is our culture for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that we lost in slavery. All right. All right. So yesterday we left off after Esther had became the wife of the queen in Persia, one of the queens, one of the many queens in Persia. All right. We're going to skip a little past that down to where Haman, that, okay. Let's start at verse 10, Esther 3 and 10. Let's start at verse, hold on one sec. All right. And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, there's a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom. So Haman went to the king of the land and told him, there's a people in the land that are scattered. All right, as you know, the Israelites in the curses, it said the Israelites would be scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. All right, so you have black people in Vietnam, in Japan, in Australia. You have Hispanics all over South America. You got black people in Europe. So black people are scattered throughout all the corners of the globe. All right, so this was back then. It was similar because we had got put out of our land, and that was the curse. And once we get put out of our land, we'll be scattered into all different lands. And it said, and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom. So this right here is a scripture that lets you know that Israelites were in Ethiopia. Israelites, black people were in India. Black people were in the Middle East. Black people were all over those areas because those are the provinces of this king, if you read in earlier verses. And their laws are diverse from all people. Their laws are different from the people. All right. Most people have laws that aren't like Israelite laws. Okay, Israelite laws are concrete laws. Laws in other nations and kingdoms, they're just tradition things that are traditionally done. But no, there's no Israelite laws like Israelites have a law to not eat pork. There's pretty much no culture on the earth that has laws against not eating certain foods. And I'm talking about before Islam and Catholicism, because obviously the Israelite culture, this during Esther, is before the Romans, the Greeks, Catholics, Christians, and Muslims. This is before them. Now this is about people who had their natural cultures, not a culture who's trying to mix all together like in Christianity. These people had their natural cultures. Okay, so and when I say natural, I mean the ones that they just came up with. Like the people in India, they just came up with that God with multiple arms. There wasn't no God that showed them that. They just came up with it. People in China, they just came up with the yin and the yang and the dragon and and all of that. They just came up with it. It's not. That's just what they came up with. Israelites, ours are more concrete. All right, so I heard a noise. All right. Neither keep they the king's laws. Therefore, it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. So this is what this guy said to the king. Talking about Israelites. Saying how it don't profit the king to have us alive in his kingdom. Verse 9. If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed. And I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have the charge of the business, to bring it into the king's treasuries. So they're trying to get a purge going. All right, this is the original real life. This is apartheid. This is what's that word where they try to erase another people? Genocide. Yeah, it's a genocide. So this right here was an attempt at a genocide against blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. All right, through the form of a purge. Okay, verse 10. And the king took his ring from his hand and gave it unto Haman, the son of Hammedatha the Gagite, the Jews' enemy. All right, the Jews. Jew is short for the tribe of Judah. That's all that means. All right, most people think, oh yeah, Jesus was a Jew. That means he's like some hook nose, curls on the side of his head buffoon. No, it means he was from the tribe of Judah. Jew, Judah. Jew, Judah. That's the root word where it come from. Jew is a short term for Judah. And the king said unto Haman, the silver is given to thee, the people also, to do with them as it seemeth good to thee. So the king agreed with it, and he was down with it, okay, to destroy the Jews. Hey, shalom, Officer Amawan, in the chat. Verse 12. Then were the king's scribes called on the 13th day of the first month, and there was written, according to all that Haman had commanded unto the king's lieutenants, and to the governors that were over every province, and to the rulers of every people, of every province, according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language. In the name of King Ahasuerus was it written and sealed with the king's ring. So it became a decree in that kingdom, in the most powerful kingdom, that they will be destroying the Israelites. Sealed with the king's ring. Verse 13. And the letters were sent by posts into all the king's province to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all Jews, both young and old, little children and women, in one day, even upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month Adar, and to take the spoil of them for a prey. All right. So this is heavy. Okay, it's talking about killing both young and old, little children and women in one day. All right, and that's a very serious matter. Okay, they're trying to kill us all out, all our kids. You look at your kids, look at your grandmama, look at your family and friends. I could use some more drink. Think of your family and friends. Think of all of them about to be killed, about to be murdered. All right, by the force of the sword. And it's a. Let me get some of that the V8 stuff. What? So that's what they're dealing with. It's a horrible thing. All right, verse 14. The copy of the writing for a commandment to be given in every province was published unto all people, that they should be ready against that day. Verse 15. The post went out, being hastened by the king's commandment, and the decree was given in Shushan the palace. And the king and Haman sat down to drink, but the city Shushan was perplexed. All right, everybody in the city was perplexed at the order. You know what I mean? Like, what is this? And so that's what happened. They were very perplexed. Everybody was. When Mordecai perceived all that was done, Mordecai rent his clothes, which is what we did when we in extreme suffering, or and whatnot, and put on sackcloth with ashes, and went out into the midst of the city, and cried with a loud and a bitter cry. Verse 2. And came even before the king's gate, for none might enter into the king's gate clothed with sackcloth. And in every province, whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came, there was great mourning among the Jews, and fasting, and weeping, and wailing, and many lay in sackcloth and ashes. We was praying. We was praying as a people. You know what I mean? Which is something we did when we knew something bad was going to happen. We prayed to the Most High. You know what I mean? As a people. All right. Most people don't pray to the Most High. Most black people don't pray to the Most High. Okay, we may pray to the Most High, like for example, during the coronavirus pandemic, we're not fasting and praying as a people or nothing like that. Israelite School UPK, we pray. You understand? But our people in the world, they lost that because they don't know the Most High. All right, so let's get more. So Esther's maids and her chamberlains came and told it her. Then was the queen exceedingly grieved, Because you got to remember, Esther was an Israelite. She was a Jew. All right. And she sent raiment to clothe Mordecai and to take away his sackcloth from him, but he received it not. All right. Then called, so basically, Esther at the beginning she wasn't understanding what was going on. She wasn't understanding the magnitude of what was going on. Like she see Mordecai in sackcloth and ashes, but she trying to take the sackcloth and ashes off the brother. Which, why are you trying to do that when the brother's, trying to pray to the Most High? So she wasn't all the way on it at first. Like she was being real selfish. Like she's in the queen's palace, eating good, fair and sumptuously every day, and she get word that her uncle is on the outside of the temple mourning in sackcloth and ashes. She's like, oh, she sent him some clothes to change because it's embarrassing her. Yeah, well, this is what happens. So let's get on. But she was, like I said, living in luxury, and she didn't feel like she was under any threat. All right, she's in the palace. Okay, one of the queens, or one of the women, married to the king. Verse 5. Then Esther of Hattach, one of the king's chamberlains, whom he had appointed to attend upon her, and gave him a commandment to Mordecai to know what it was and why it was. So Esther called for Hattach, which is the chamberlain, one of the chamberlains, like eunuchs that served the queens, and to go ask Mordecai why he was in sackcloth and ashes. So Hattach went forth to Mordecai unto the street of the city, which was before the king's gate. And Mordecai told him all that had happened unto him, and of the sum of the money that Haman had promised to pay the king's treasuries for the Jews to destroy them. Also, he gave him the copy of the writing of the decree that was given to Shushan to destroy them, to show it unto Esther, and to declare it unto her, and to charge her that she should go in unto the king, to make supplication unto him to make request before him for her people. So, to sum that up, Mordecai, after the chamberlain came to Mordecai while he was in sackcloth and ashes, because all the people were about to get killed, he gave him the decree and told him what was going on. Because Esther was oblivious to it. She wasn't knowing what was going on because she's in the palace. She wasn't with the common folk at this time. So let's read on. And Hattach came and told Esther the words of Mordecai. Again, Esther spake unto Hattach and gave him commandment unto Mordecai. All the king's servants and the people of the king's province do know that whosoever, whether man or woman, shall come unto the king into the court, who is not called, there is one law of his to put him to death, except such to whom the king shall hold out the golden scepter, that he may live. So basically, the king, at that time, he had a big throne room where people would come in to talk to the king. And in this room, you're not allowed to just barge in there. It's like the Senate houses or any White House. You can't just walk in the White House. Okay, have an appointment. You gotta to go talk to the king. You can't just walk up in there, even if having sex with the president. You can't just walk up in there during the daytime and just be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? So that's what she told him. So she's still not trying to do nothing about it. But she says, but I have not been called to come in unto the king these 30 days. So it's been 30 days since she's even been around the king. Verse 12. And they told to Mordecai Esther's words. Then Mordecai commanded to answer Esther. He said, think not with thyself that thou shalt escape in the king's house more than all the Jews. He's checking her at this point because she's coming back to him, giving him excuses, and he's saying, you know what? Don't think that you're going to escape this too, just because you're in the king's house. You understand? So he's letting her know, you're going to have to do something about this while you're up there sitting in the fancy house, in the king's house. You can't ignore this because it's going to come to you. Verse 14. For if thou altogether holdest thy peace at this time, then shall their enlargement and deliverance arise to the Jews from another place. See, Mordecai had faith in the Most High. So he told her, he said, well, look, if you hold your peace, if you don't say nothing about it, the Lord's still going to deliver us. And then he said, but thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed. And who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this? That is a beautiful check-in, a beautiful word from Mordecai to her. You understand? He told her straight up. He said, look, you don't do something about it and say something. If you hold your peace while you insist us and leave us out here to die, guess what? You're going to end up dying and we're going to get delivered anyway. So it's up to you. You can not say nothing. You're going to get killed. You're going to die. You're going to be destroyed and we're going to get delivered anyway. Then he said, but you don't know. This may be the reason why you're in the king's house for such a time as this, to save our people in the time of need. You don't know. The Lord may have got you in there just for this purpose. So he's laying it out to her. He's laying it out to her what it is, because he's checking her ass. All right, so let's get some more. Verse 15. Then Esther bade them return Mordecai this answer. She responded back. Like after she heard that, she's like, oh shit. She said, go, gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan, and fast ye for me, and neither eat nor drink 3 days, night or day. She said, well, look, if y'all want me to do this, look, this is what the people need to do. Y'all need to fast for 3 days and 3 nights and don't eat or drink nothing. All right? That's almost death. If you don't drink none for 3 days, that's you being close to death. You understand? So that's what she told the people, because we needed to make sure that the Lord heard our prayers. Okay? Do we have paper plates? I can go look. Yeah, look real quick. Yeah, check that thing. That's the little thing right there. Nope. We're gonna look in there. Okay. But yeah, so it's going down. All right. This is right here is the climax of the story. This is where things get hairy. You know what I mean? Things get like, oh man, we don't know what's gonna happen. All right, like this is bad, real bad. That's what's going on right here. This is bad, real bad. You know. Get back to it. Do we have any? Okay. So let's get the rest. Verse 16. Go, gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan. Fast for 3 days and 3 nights. I also and my maidens will fast likewise. And so will I go in unto the king, which is not according to the law. And if I perish, I perish. So she said, look, y'all do that, and I'm going to go in unto the king. She going to fast 3 days and 3 nights, and the maidens. And she going to go into the king, which is not according to the law. She going to say, if she perish, she perish. Verse 17. So Mordecai went his way and did according to all that Esther had commanded him. Chapter 5. Let's see how many chapters this is. Okay, good. Now it came to pass on the 3rd day that Esther put on her royal apparel and stood in the inner court of the king's house. over against the king's house. And the king sat upon his royal throne in the house royal, in the royal house. And it was so, when the king saw Esther the queen standing in the court, that she obtained favor in his sight. And the king held out to Esther the golden scepter. So she came over there, and she went and walked into the court. And even though that's the death penalty offense, the king said, hey, he liked what he seen. So he said he held out the golden scepter. Yeah, no sweat, let her pass. Let her pass. So Esther drew near and touched the top of the scepter. Then said the king unto her, what wilt thou, Queen Esther, and what is thy request? It shall be even given thee to the half of the kingdom. So he's ready to give her damn near whatever she want. You understand? Verse 4, and Esther answered, if it seem good unto the king, let the king and Haman, he's the one who started all this shit, this devil, come this day unto the banquet that I have prepared for him. Then the king said, cause Haman to make haste, that he may do as Esther hath said. So the king and Haman came to the banquet that Esther had prepared. Verse 6. And for people who don't know, this is just a little off to another point. Esther is Mordecai's niece or cousin, or one of the two. He took her in and raised her as a daughter. Okay? I believe Mordecai is from the tribe of Benjamin, so he'd be like a Jamaican type brother. Or there he is a Jamaican, but the Jamaicans are Benjamites, or that's the tribe. Okay, so that's just like a little bit what they are, who they is. Okay. And the king said unto Esther, at the banquet of, hold up, let's see. So she prepared the banquet for Haman and the king. Verse 5, then the king said, cause Haman to make haste, that he may do as Esther said. Oh, okay, they're going to the banquet. And the king said unto Esther at the banquet of wine, what is thy petition? Because he asking her, what do you want? You want anything? What do you want? I'll give it to you. And to perform my request, let the king and Haman, okay, it says, what is thy petition? And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? Even to the half of the kingdom, it shall be performed. That's how you know, like, he ready to give up half the kingdom to her. Like, he really awestruck. No wonder the other wife he had was embarrassing him and disrespecting him. This dude is he's like love women too much. Or he'd give her half the kingdom. Kings can't go back on their word and stuff like that. That's a dishonor. You know what I mean? So that'll ruin their kingship. So yeah, he's serious when he says even unto half of the kingdom. I don't know how you give away half your kingdom to a woman. Like, that's retarded, but he's ready to do it. I guess more. Well, Esther was that beautiful, but still, man, that's a rough one. All right. I guess in the divorce you get half. So it is what it is. So let's see. Then answered Esther and said, my petition and my request is, if I have found favor in the sight of the king, and if it please the king to grant my petition and to perform my request, let the king and Haman come to the banquet that I shall prepare for them. And I will do tomorrow as the king hath said. So she's setting up two banquets, first day and the second day. Then Haman went forth that day joyful and with a glad heart. See, because he feel like he eating with the king and the queen, like he's up there with the king and the queen, because he's eating with them. But when Haman saw Mordecai in the king's gate, that he stood not up, nor moved for him, because anytime Haman came by, everybody's supposed to bow down. That's the decree. So if Haman walks by, everybody's supposed to bow as he walks by. Like, yeah, back in the old days, they did that a lot. But Mordecai never bowed to him. It says, nor moved for him. He was full of indignation against Mordecai. He's full of anger against Mordecai, which is what started this whole thing. Nevertheless, Haman refrained himself. And when he came home, he sent and called for his friends and Zeresh, his wife. And Haman told them of the glory of his riches and the multitude of his children and all the things wherein the king had promoted him, and how he had advanced him above the princes and the servants of the king. So this dude Haman, he's living large right now at this point. He's about to get all the people he don't like killed, a bunch of black people killed, and he's dining with the king. He's got a high position in the kingdom. Really, with the top highs, he's like vice president right now. So he would be considered the vice president, or in that position of vice president. And Haman told them, okay, let me go down verse 12. Haman said, moreover, yea, Esther the queen did let no man come in with the king unto the banquet that she had prepared, but myself. And tomorrow I am invited unto her also with the king. Ooh-wee, Haman, he feeling so good. He telling people about it. Oh, that's just the king, me, and the queen. See, nobody was invited but me. See, I'm probably gonna be the king next. That's probably what he thinking in his mind. He thinking he's gonna be the king next. Like, man, I'm probably gonna take over next. You know, I'm next in line now. Since I'm chilling with the king and the queen, I'm having private banquets. Oh man, I'm gonna be the greatest. So Haman's hot. He's hyped up now, but then this the guy who trying to get us all killed. Remember that the white, it's a Edomite white guy. Yet all this availeth me nothing, so long as I see Mordecai the Jew sitting at the king's gate. See, he didn't like Mordecai sitting at the king's gate, not bowing down to him. So he really wanted to see Mordecai get it. When he see Mordecai get it, then he'll know that, yeah, look, I made that nigger bow down to me, and he wasn't trying to bow down. We're going to make him bow down, or we're going to kill him. I'm going to see his head roll. He can bow down with no head. Then said Zeresh, his wife, and all his friends unto him, let a gallows be made of 50 cubits high. They was going to hang niggas. And tomorrow speak thou unto the king that Mordecai may be hanged thereon. Then go thou in merrily with the king unto the banquet. And the thing pleased Haman, and he caused the gallows to be made. Like, man, Haman is living at large. He is like, yo, he is on cloud nine right now. They tell him, yeah, man, you should hang that nigga. Put a 50-foot gallows outside. A 50-foot, that's like taller than two houses. They trying to put a big old gallows and hang them and hang Mordecai by it, and whatever other blacks and stuff that are out there. So, you know, this is what is in their heart. This is what always been in their heart. And the king's servants said unto him, behold, Haman standeth in the court. And the king said, let him come in. So Haman came in, and the king said unto him, what shall be done unto the man whom the king delighteth to honor? So the king is like, hey man, what can I do to you? Because I like honoring you, because you doing a good job as in command. Now Haman thought in his heart, to whom would the king delight to do honor more than to myself? So he's like, yeah, this is good. And Haman answered the king, for the man whom the king delighteth to honor, let the royal apparel hold on. Oh, wait. I skipped a few verses. Hold on a sec. Yeah. Okay. Esther chapter 6, verse 1. On that night could not the king sleep, and he commanded to bring the book of records of Chronicles, and they were read before the king. So he couldn't sleep. So he's getting some entertainment and studying up on the records of things that happened in the past. Like, why can't he sleep? And it was found written that Mordecai had told of Bigthana and Teresh, 2 of the king's chamberlains, the keepers of the doors, who sought to lay hand on the king Ahasuerus. So it was written in the books that Mordecai saved the king's life. Okay? And so let's get more. And the king said, "What honor and dignity hath been done to Mordecai for this?" Then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, "There is nothing done for him." So that's what they did. They ain't even, so they're like, yeah, nobody did nothing for him saving you. Verse 4. And the king said, "Who is in the court now?" Who is in the court? Now Haman was coming to the court. So now this is the time when Haman came in. Then it goes down to where it said, "Whom the king delighted to honor." And then Haman was thinking it was about him, but it was actually about Mordecai. All right, who Haman hates. And Haman answered the king, "For the man whom the king delights to honor, let the royal apparel be brought, which the king useth to wear, and the horse that the king rideth upon, and the crown royal which is set upon his head." See, Haman thinking it's about him. So he's like, shoot, if you think you're gonna honor somebody, this is how you do it. Let him get your horse, your outfit, your crown, all of that. That's what you should do, because he thinking it's about him. But it's actually about Mordecai. So Haman is just a damn bastard. But so let's get more. Then the king said to Haman, "Make haste and take the apparel and the horse, as thou hast said, and do even so to Mordecai, the Jew, that sitteth at the king's gate. Let nothing fail of all that thou hast spoken." Damn. So this is when Haman heard that. He bet his countenance, his spirit vibe dropped all the way down to the ground. Because he's like, he's thinking he about to get this honor. He about to get, all this plugged and be damn near like the king. And he said, "Man, do it for Mordecai." And he hate Mordecai. He trying to get Mordecai killed. He in the process of it. Let's get more. And Mordecai, hold on. Then took Haman the apparel and the horse, and arrayed Mordecai, and brought him on horseback through the street of the city, and proclaimed before him, "Thus shall it be done unto the man whom the king delighteth to honor." And Mordecai came again to the king's gate, but Haman hasted to his house mourning, and having his head covered. And Haman told Zeresh his wife, and all his friends, everything that had befallen him. Then said his wise men and Zeresh unto his wife, "If Mordecai be of the seed of the Jews, before whom thou hast begun to fall, thou shalt not prevail against him, but thou shalt surely fall before him." And while they were yet talking with him, came the king's chamberlains, and hasted to bring Haman unto the banquet that Esther had prepared. So the night before, Haman was on cloud 9. Now it's going down, because the honor is going to Mordecai, but he still got the plan that all the Jews are going to get killed on a certain day. But they're saying to his friends and his wife are saying, look, if Mordecai is getting honor like this and he's a Jew, they're not going to kill the Jews because of Mordecai. So this is not good. So while Haman's thinking about that, he gets hurried back into another banquet with Esther, who also is a Jew. So you better watch it out there. You try to do something to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you don't know who's out there, who's going to be over you or who's going to be around. All right, that's why sometimes when they be saying Caucasian people are going to ride through the ghetto and be doing stuff and this and that, I'm like, man, they don't know what they about to run into. Ghetto already getting shot up every damn night. What they gonna do? Come here and then do what? Get shot up too. They think they gonna run up in here and do what? They ain't gonna do nothing but get their ass handed to them, because they don't know who they know and who's who. You know what I mean? Who's who? They could be trying to get prepared to come kill a whole bunch of black people in the ghetto, then get pulled over by a black cop. two, 3 black cops come out and start searching them and checking all their stuff. Now look at you. What you going now? The whole plot spoiled. Spoiled. All right, so let's get more. So then they rushed him off to the banquet. Esther chapter 7. So the king and Haman came to banquet with Esther the queen. And the king said again unto Esther, on the second day at the banquet of wine, what is thy petition, Queen Esther? And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? And it shall be performed, even to the half of the kingdom. Verse 3. Then Esther the queen answered and said, if I have found favor in thy sight, O king, and if it please the king, let my life be given me at my petition, and my people at my request. So they at the banquet again, and this and that, rocking and rolling. And now Esther says, well, now since we really want to talk about this, what you want to give to me, how about you give me my life? And how about you give my people's life? And then so that's what she says out of nowhere. And then verse 4, for we are sold, I and my people, to be destroyed, to be slain, and to perish. But if we had been sold for bondmen and bondwomen, I had held my tongue, although the enemy could not countervail the king's damage. So basically she's saying, yeah, my request is that I live, because we about to all be killed and be put to death. Verse 5, then the king answered and said unto Esther the queen, who is he, and where is he that does presume in his heart to do so? And Esther said, the adversary and the enemy is this wicked Haman. I can see it now. She probably pointed at him right there. Is this wicked Haman? Then Haman was afraid before the king and the queen. So this is where it all turned around, right at this moment. And before this, like this whole, Haman was way up here. And then in his pride that he was going to kill the Jews and kill Mordecai. Then Mordecai got honored, and Esther pointed out his plan that she's a Jew, and Haman's trying to kill him right in front of the king. While the king's asking her, what does she want? So Haman, everything done flipped, did a whole 360 on Haman, which is awesome. You know what I mean? It's all right on point. Okay? It's what that devil deserved. So Queen Esther pointed at Haman, and Haman was afraid. He's in fear. And the king, arising from the banquet of wine in his wrath, went into the palace garden. So he got up and walked out the room. And Haman stood up to make request for his life to Esther the queen. So Haman stands up and he starts begging. He started begging Esther, please spare me, please, don't do this, please. Crying and begging like a little punk. Like a little sniveling coward, which he is. And it says, for he saw that there was evil determined against him by the king. He could tell the king the king was mad now. The king was like, what the, Haman, you mother, you know what I mean? Who you trying to kill my damn queen? You know, he could tell the king went off he don't want to go run off to the king and start begging. So he started begging to Esther, thinking he gonna get some sympathy. He ain't about to get no sympathy today. It's over for this devil. And the king, arising from the banquet of wine, hold on, go down. Then the king returned out of the palace garden into the palace of the banquet of wine. And Haman was fallen upon the bed whereon Esther was. So Esther went towards the bed, and Haman, he's crying over her, begging, trying to, lean on her. Then said the king, will he force the queen also before me in the house? It's looking bad for this dude. As the word went out of the king's mouth, they covered Haman's face. So as soon as the king said that, everybody, all the little guards and little people stationed around, they knew what it was. They knew what time it was after he said that, and they covered his face. Okay? Which means while Haman's standing there begging and pleading, some people just came with a hood, put it over his head, poof, and snatched him away. Snatched him away. You understand? And Harbonah, one of the chamberlains, said before the king, behold also the gallows 50 cubits high, which Haman had made for Mordecai, who had spoken good for the king. standeth in the house of Haman. Then the king said, hang him thereon. Oh yeah, ooh wee. I wish I could have been a fly on the wall to see this scene right here. You know, to see all this, see this white devil get slain and turned upon. Verse 10. So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Then was the king's wrath pacified. On that day did the king Ahasuerus give the house of Haman, the Jews' enemy, unto Esther, the queen. And Mordecai came before the king, for Esther had told what he was unto her. Verse 2. And the king took off his ring, which he had taken from Haman, and gave it unto Mordecai. So, yeah. And Esther set Mordecai over the house of Haman. So, yeah, so everything that Haman owned got turned over to Mordecai and Esther. All right, his whole house, which is a lot. You know what I mean? Like an estate. Back then, a house is usually an estate. It's not like a little building. It's usually a whole large plot of land. People trying to live on there, pay you rent, landlord type stuff, like back in the medieval type days. So it's a whole estate. He's like, and give it all to Mordecai. Give everything that Haman has to all his house to Mordecai. You cold? Okay. All right. And Esther spake yet again before the king, and fell down at his feet, and besought him with tears to put away the mischief of Haman the Agagite, and his device that he had devised against the Jews. Then the king held out the golden scepter toward Esther. So Esther arose and stood before the king, and said, if it please the king, and I found favor in thy sight, and the thing seem right before the king, and I be pleasing in his eyes, let it be written to reverse the letters devised by Haman, the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, which he wrote to destroy the Jews, which are in all the king's provinces. For how can I endure to see the evil that shall come unto my people? Or how can I endure to see the destruction of my kindred? Then the king Ahasuerus said unto Esther the queen and to Mordecai the Jew, behold, I have given Esther the house of Haman, and him they have hanged upon the gallows, because he laid his hand upon the Jews. Write ye also for the Jews as it liketh you in the king's name, and seal it with the king's ring. For the writing which is written in the king's name and sealed with the king's ring may no man reverse. Then were the king's scribes called at that time in the 3rd month, that is the month Sivan, in the 23rd day thereof. And it was written according to all that Mordecai commanded unto the Jews, and to the lieutenants, and the deputies, and the rulers of the provinces which are from India unto Ethiopia. So I let you know, black Israelites, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans were from India even unto Ethiopia during this time. Unto every province according to the writing thereof, and unto every people after their language, and to the Jews according to their writing, and according to their language. And he wrote in the king Ahasuerus' name, and sealed it with the king's ring, and set letters by posts on horseback, and riders on mules, camels, and young dromedaries, wherein the king granted the Jews, which were in every city, to gather themselves together, and to stand for their life, to destroy, to slay, and to cause to perish all the power of the people and province that would assault them, both little ones and women, and to take the spoil of them for a prey. So he said, man, tell it with the king's letter that all Jews are supposed to gather together and kill and fight and destroy whoever come after them. You know what I mean? Whoever's silly enough to still follow the first ruling, tell all them Jews to get together, that the king said to get together and kill. And they got permission from the king to kill, slay, defend, spoil anybody who come after them. You understand? Which is a beautiful thing. And I definitely drink to that. Okay, definitely drink to that. Because that is beautiful. That's Black history. All right there. You want to talk about Black History Month? Now that's Black history. Okay? We should have did this during Red Summer in the 1919, which people don't know. Red Summer was a summer during the 1919 and 1920 where there was basically riots in every black city across the country, because at that time there was still black cities like Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street, Rosewood, East St. Louis, certain parts, even in Harlem and everything, where it was really powerful economics and black people together. And that was during the year that Black Wall Street happened. But people mainly know about Black Wall Street. But what they don't know is that happened almost in every state. It wasn't just happened in Oklahoma. That happened in them like 2-3 years. It's called Red Summer. You can look it up. It happened in over 24 cities all over the country. It was all over the country happening. You know what I mean? That white people were seeing blacks, you know what I mean, and come up. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a government order to do it. You know what I mean? Similar like to what happened in here, where it said, okay, everybody on these days can go and spoil and assault and try to kill black people. I wouldn't be surprised if it was some government order given to police to not help any blacks during this time or whatnot. But yeah, so Black Wall Street was a nationwide. Most people think it just happened in one town, but no, that is called Red Summer. That happened across the whole country at that time, when they were trying to burn black businesses down, destroy black neighbors, black people's houses, run them out of town, run them out of their businesses and their shops and their property and possessions. That happened across the entire country in 1 year, or one summer. It's called Red Summer. All right, actually it was 2 summers, but it's called Red Summer. All right, red for the blood. All right, so this is what we should have done during that time, though. We should have been gathered all together and been ready to defend ourselves for whatever happened to us or whatever they try to attack.
No more questions. Is that everything up behind you? Yep. We have a bag on that was sitting on the floor here. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna search y'all actually. Search you, then you search them. I don't want to check it out. No, okay, you don't. You go that blade thing? That's a blade. Ain't that a blade?
fire starter.
Oh, okay. All right. I know some people got things like that. That's a blade.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Any other knives, weapons, explosive devices? All right, we have the climax of the story. So, all right. So, yeah. So that's what happened. So this is what happened. So everybody, all Israel came together. Verse 12. Upon one day, in all the provinces of King Ahasuerus, namely upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month Adar, the copy of the writing for a commandment to be given in every province was published unto all people, and that the Jews should be ready against that day to avenge themselves on their enemies. So the posts that rode upon mules and camels went out, being hastened and pressed on by the king's commandment. And the decree was given. Oh, did your dad walk back outside? All right, make sure he's not locked out. I hope he don't. Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, I want everything downstairs.
All right, Mosiah. I didn't want you out. You know what I'm saying? Like the door closed or something. And so yeah. So they avenge themselves. This is why it's asinine for women in this day and age. They don't need no man. It's just because when something like this happens, you're gonna need all the men. You understand? So they can gather together. When they had Red Summer, they talk about they had people who were still alive and they did interviews. I watched one about East St. Louis. East St. Louis was a prominent black town. Okay, it was full of black businesses. It was like Black Wall Street, but in St. Louis. It was across the bridge, and tons of black people came up that way towards East St. Louis. All right, so they were living there, getting money, working at warehouse factories and all that. And the devils, the bridge, and start trying to. No, they didn't come across the bridge. They were killing white people who lived black people who lived outside of the ghetto. Like there was some black people that had houses behind the downtown. They were attacked and their houses were burned down while people was inside of them. And they were killing people. Like if they ran out the house because the house was on fire, they would shoot them and beat them up and kill them. If they stayed in the house, they burned to death. And that happened in East St. Louis during Red Summer. And there was a black guy who talked about when they came over to their side of town that they was mowing them down with their guns. So that let you know that that's why you need men. They try to talk about, they say if you build Black Wall Street, they'll be like, well, what if white people come in and try to destroy it again? That's why you get guns. You understand? That's why you get guns and you defend yourself. You understand? Just the same way the Israelites did back then. And you got to have the Lord on your side. And the Lord helped fight for you. And they was able to defend themselves.
Damn right.
So that's what happened. Because Black Wall Street, it wasn't like the government. What happened was it was the police didn't come nowhere. They just went away for a day. And so all those white boys went and started killing. But look, they gonna kill, you can kill too. You understand? It wasn't like the whole U.S. Army came on the town. It was all them devils, and the police just went away, or police made it act like they was regular people. But they could have shot them back, shot them up. They could have defended themselves. Right. It would have been just as fine, because certain brothers did defend themselves, and they pulled out their shotguns, and it was a war. You understand? It was a war. We just don't know all the history, so we don't hear the stories of when brothers was killing all type of people, killing all them devils who was trying to attack black people. All right, I'm sure there was tons of brothers who went out there, probably clicked up and went out there and started banging on them devils.
Right.
I'm sure of it. You know what I mean? It wasn't everybody just running away like, ah. No, my brothers went and got their guns and was getting their families together and running, shooting back. I guarantee you. Go ahead, Ward.
That's such a good point you're bringing out. Like, a prime example of that is how they tried to sweep the history of Nat Turner under the rug, and also how Haiti became a sovereign nation. They tried to sweep that under the rug. Whenever there shows Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians fighting back, and not just fighting back, but winning, then, you know, you got to mark that out the history books. You'll never find that in the European schools.
Yep. General Muhammad always bring out, he did a class on the Lowry Gang. If you don't know, the Lowry Gang was a gang of blacks and Native Americans.
Okay.
And basically, they had got their guns. I forgot what they were doing. I don't know if they was robbing white people. They probably was. So there was a gang. They was running around, you know, robbing devils and stuff like that. Like on some Robin Hood stuff, stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. And so the whites of of certain towns was trying to hunt them down, but they could never get them. They could never catch the gang. So they was always perplexed about it. The gang stealing guns and just doing whatever they wanted to do. So what the people did, what the devils did, was they had took all the brothers' wives and held them hostage in this jail. And they said, y'all got to come out because we have your wives. So you need to come out and we got your wives. So what the Lowry gang did, they went and abducted all those white people's wives.
Right.
and so they had their wives. So then they had to do a swap, an exchange of wives. And the Lowry gang was still able to escape again. And then so after that, though, they kind of disbanded. And the leader of the gang, he was never found. You know what I mean? He was never found. You know what I mean? But they always said that his woman would always go to Mexico like once a year. You know what I mean? Because this happened in like North Carolina.
Right.
It happened in like North Carolina around that time. And it was like the 1800s. This was a little bit after. I don't know if this is. I think this is a little bit after slavery. But, you know, slavery was going on, but not going on during this time. It's like after the Civil War.
Right.
But yeah, the Lowry gang. You know what I mean? History Channel did a spill on the Lowry gang. That General Muhammad showed it in the class. So if you're ever on YouTube and you want to see something dope, look up the Lowry gang. Loury or Lowry gang. And you see their story of what they did. You know what I mean? Them brothers weren't playing. So that's what happened here. They basically fought back and killed the people who were trying to kill them, which is what you do. You defend yourself. Verse 14. So the posts that rode upon mules and camels went out, being hastened and pressed on by the king's commandment. And the decree was given at Shushan the palace. And Mordecai went out from the presence of the king in royal apparel of blue and white, and with a great crown of gold, and with a garment of fine linen and purple. And the city of Shushan rejoiced and was glad. The Jews had light and gladness and joy and honor. Verse 17. And in every province and in every city, whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came, the Jews had joy and gladness, a feast and a good day. And many of the people of the land became Jews, for the fear of the Jews fell upon them. And when it says became Jews, that doesn't mean, they became like the Jews. So what them Jews do? They don't eat pork. They don't do this. They don't do that. Yeah, I don't do that either. I'm just like them. You see what I'm saying? They became Jews. You know what I mean? You can't become a Jew because it's from the tribe of Judah. They became like us. Try to customs like us. Oh yeah, the women, they wear their hair covered. Yeah, well, we're doing that too, because they were scared of the Jews. Because at this time the Jews came together, and we was like a gang of, don't fuck with us now, because we was on edge. We was just about to die. So anybody fuck with us now, we about to kill them. You see what I'm saying? So people were scared of the Jews. So they start trying to be like the Jews. Esther 9 and 1. Now, in the 12th month, that is the month Adar, on the 13th day of the same, when the king's commandment has decree drew to be put in execution, in the day that the enemies of the Jews hoped to have power over them, though it was turned to the contrary, that the Jews had rule over them that hated them. So the Jews came up. Verse 2. The Jews gathered themselves together in their cities throughout all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus to lay hand on such as sought their hurt, and no man could withstand them, for the fear of them fell upon all people. And all the rulers of the provinces, and the lieutenants, and the deputies, and officers of the king helped the Jews, because the fear of Mordecai fell upon them. Hell yeah. Boy, this is good. This is the good part right here. Everybody's scared as hell of black people now. For Mordecai was great in the king's house, and his fame went out throughout all the provinces. For this man Mordecai waxed greater and greater. Verse 5. Thus the Jews smote all their enemies with the stroke of the sword, and slaughter, and destruction, and did what they would unto those that hated them. Verse 6. And in Shushan the palace, the Jews slew and destroyed 500 men. That's in Shushan. That's just in the one city. They killed 500 cats that tried to mess with the Jews. And Parshandatha, and Dalphon, and Aspatha, and Paratha, and Adaliah, and Aradatha, and Parmashta, and Arasai, and Aradai, and Vijazetha, the 10 sons of Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the enemy of the Jews, slew they. But on the spoil laid they not their hand. So they went and killed Haman's sons. He had 10 sons. And they all got killed by the Jews. And we was definitely coming for them. On that day, the number of those that were slain in Shushan the palace was brought before the king. And the king said unto Esther the queen, the Jews have slain and destroyed 500 men in Shushan the palace, and the 10 sons of Haman. What have they done in the rest of the king's provinces? Now what is thy petition? And it shall be granted thee. Or what is thy request further? And it shall be done. Damn, this king was all over Esther. Damn, Esther was bad as can be. The Spirit of the Lord was been on Esther, boy. She got a spell on this nigga. He like, look, they can kill so many people. They did all this. What else do they want? You know what I mean? How else can I help you, queen? Yeah, now this is what we talk about. See, Michelle Obama should if she was an Israelite, she knew the truth. She'd put some of this type of this right here on Obama. And Obama wouldn't be helping the gays, he'd be helping the blacks. He helped the gays though. You understand? If you could, can you turn on that heater? I might have to turn on the heat in the building. Mm-hmm. Let me know if you get cold or if anybody gets cold. What, is there food over there?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Okay. I don't know. Yeah. Hey, damn right. Hey, Shalom, Lord Christ. So they got down. It was all over Esther. Verse 14. And the king commanded it. Hold on. Then Esther said, if it please the king, let it be granted to which are in Shushan to tomorrow also according unto this day's decree, and let Haman's 10 sons be hanged upon the gallows. And the king commanded it to be done. And the decree was given at Shushan, and they hanged Haman's 10 sons. It's beautiful. For the Jews that were in Shushan gathered themselves together on the 14th day, also of the month Adar, and slew 300 men at Shushan. Oh, thanks. But on the prey they laid not their hand. So it's going down. It's warfare in the kingdom.
Right.
and Israelites is coming out on top. Verse 17. On the 13th day of the month Adar, and on the 14th day of the same, rested they, and made it a day of feasting and gladness. But the Jews that were at Shushan together on the 13th day thereof, and on the 14th day thereof, and on the 15th day of the same, they rested, and made it a day of feasting and gladness. Therefore, the Jews of the villages that dwelt in the unwalled towns made the 14th of the month Adar a day of gladness and feasting, and a good day, and of sending portions one to another. Verse 3532 Keystone Avenue, North Keystone Avenue. So it got a ring to it. We might have to get a commercial going. 3532 North Keystone Avenue. And get somebody to dance.
Come on through.
Yeah. Get somebody to dance in like a chicken outfit. Tell them we got chicken and everything. You know what I'm saying? Hey, they'll remember that. So let's see. And Mordecai wrote these things and sent letters unto all the Jews that were in all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus, both nigh and far, to establish this among them, that they should keep the 14th day of the month Adar and the 15th day of the same yearly. This right here is where we get the feast, the feast of Purim. It's just like he said, to keep the 2 days, 2 nights to remember, because what happened at Shushan the palace and what happened in the villages in the unwalled towns. So we was killing heathens left and right on both days. You know what I mean? As the days wherein the Jews rested from their days, and the month which was turned unto them from sorrow to joy, and from mourning into a good day, that they should make them day feasting and joy, and of sending portions to another and gifts to the poor. And the Jews undertook to do as they had begun, as Mordecai had written unto them, because Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, we can get the food served too if we got it. If there's food, we can start serving that.
Okay.
The sister got it. Mm-hmm. But let's see.
Actually, we waiting on paper plates to get here.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, Most High in Christ. Because Haman, the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, the enemy of all the Jews, had devised against the Jews to destroy them, and had cast that is the lot, to consume them and to destroy them. See where it says to cast that's similar to where you get the word purge. You see what I'm saying? Because that's what they was going to do. And you know what I mean? So they was going to try to purge them. You know what I mean? Purge them out. Verse 25. But when Esther came before the king, he commanded by letters that this wicked device, which he devised against the Jews, should return upon his own head, and that he had his sons should be hanged on the gallows. Go ahead, Trooper Shinya. Start. You can go ahead and read. We had Esther 9 and we had 26. Does that mic work too? You can use that.
The book of Esther, chapter 9, verse 26. Wherefore they called those days Purim, after the name of Pur. Yeah. Therefore, for all the words of the letter, of this letter, and of that which they had seen concerning this matter, and which had not come unto them.
That's right.
Verse 27. The Jews adored, or drained, and took upon them and upon their seed, and upon all such as joined themselves unto them, so as it should not fail, that they would keep these 2 days according to their writing, and according to their appointed time every year.
They're going to keep these. We put it in writing. We ordained it. Okay? We ordained it and upon their seed. You know what I mean? So that's why we get it. That's where it is. It's not a high holy day. It's a feast day. A day where we remember how we overcame. We came up. And we was about to get whacked. We was about to get killed. We was about to be all types of dead. But the Lord was with us, and we became, warriors over the people that tried to kill us. And everybody feared us. You see what I'm saying? Where to the point where they even tried to become Jews. Everybody was afraid of black people after that, or during that time. They was like, oh shoot, you know what I mean? Because we had came together and fought back. And the king's commandment was that we did it. We did it. All right. When everybody else was preparing to kill us. All right. Go ahead.
Verse 28. And that these days should be remembered and kept throughout every generation, every family, every province, and every city.
That's why we do it in the UPK. Every province, every city, every zone, all over the UPK right now, all over the world, together and getting ready to feast of what happened this day. Go ahead.
These days, no, I do it. And these days of Purim should not fail from among the Jews, nor the memorial of them perish from their seed.
Mm-hmm. We gotta always remember it. It's a memorial, like July 4th. When they remember July 4th, they remember that they blew some rocket air or something like that. Rockets red glare or something.
I think that's when America was founded.
So, July 4th was when they founded America. Oh, okay. It was actually July 3rd, but I think I remember reading something. They pushed it back a day because July 4th sounded better. It was like, yeah, well, let's hold off. Don't do it July 3rd. Let's make it July 4th. I'm in history. I watched a thing on the History Channel. But, so, yeah, we remember that all the damn time. And that ain't nothing. You see what I'm saying? Just a bunch of devils fighting other devils and making different rules and different laws while Negroes in slavery. Shoot, I think the British was trying to free niggas. Go ahead, Ward.
So the British was trying to put the so-called Americans in subjection. You get what I'm saying? Rule over them. Mm-hmm. And so Americans felt oppressed. And then they fought for their freedom because they didn't want the British king or the British queen over them. So they fought. In 1776 is when they won. So July 4th, 1776. That's when they won their freedom. And then, that's how America started to get formed. Right. But so they felt like slaves and fought for their freedom. But when we say that we're in subjection, we're just, told to be quiet and, suffer in silence. But they refuse to. So
Right. Yeah, and that's prophecy that America was supposed to break apart from Great Britain. That's the little horn. One of the little horns that came out of one of the 10 horns. So it's prophecy that America was supposed to break apart from all the European countries. But either way it go, it's devils. You know what I mean? I think the British was saying that they was going to free black people from slavery if they fought for the British. So either way, let's get more in the scripture. Because we remember that, boo. Let's remember the real good story of this.
Verse 29. Then Esther, the queen, and Mordecai, the Jew, wrote with all authority and to confirm this second letter.
Right. They said they wrote with all authority to confirm this second letter of Purim. All authority into today. Go ahead.
Verse 30. And he sent the letters unto all Jews to the 127 province kingdom of the kingdom of
Ahasuerus.
With words of peace and truth. Verse 31. To confirm days of Purim in their time, according as Mordecai, the Jew, and Esther, the queen, had enjoined them, and as deed for themselves and for their seed, the matter and their cry.
Right. So they're putting it all and making it official of what happened.
Right.
You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Verse 2.
Right.
And the decree of Esther confirmed these matters of Purim.
You even got no? You probably wear the band until after.
Oh,
because we were
I was just if I was reading or
not during class.
okay.
During class, you gotta have the head uncovered. Women's supposed to have their head covered. Yeah, women's supposed to have their head covered. So, read on.
I'm gonna take it from the top verse. And the decree of Esther confirmed these matters of Purim in the book.
All right, it's written in the book of all types of books. There's books of them people, and in the Bible, in our books. Go ahead. Let's get Esther 10.
Esther chapter 10, verse 1. And the king, Shalaki, you pronounce that one, you know what the name.
Ahasuerus.
Ahasuerus laid a tribute upon the land and upon the isles of sea.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 2. In all the acts of his power and of his might, and the declaration of the greatness of Mordecai.
He was that. Yeah, I mean, Hebrew. What his name means in the Hebrew. Mordecai definitely to save us was a main player, and the Spirit of the Lord definitely was with him. All right, let's get more.
Whereunto the king, whereunto advised him, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Media and
Persia? Stop right there. Yeah. So it's even written in the Chronicles of the Kings of Media. If you were to get the records, that Bible, like when people say the Bible is like a big fairy tale and this and that, what people don't know, if you were to go to college to study history, especially history of any biblical era type stuff, let's say you go out, you digging right in the dirt, you are a book or a pot or something like that, and it has some writing or inscriptions on it. It says King such and such. What they do is they'll look to see if that king is in the Bible, they'll know this pot is around from that time because they can know the kings. They got the years of the kings in the Bible of certain kings in certain times. You know what I mean? So they have the history timeline, but it's all circulated around the Bible. Like we actually got the book here. All right. Rose Book of Bible Charts, Maps, and Timelines. Okay, this is a serious history book, and it's got a whole timeline of every event, every biblical event, right here. It's got the timeline, every day, everything. It's all lined up in the scriptures. So if this is a fake book, how the hell you match all this up over 2,000 years? Like who old enough to match it all? Like which one guy knows about, or two or 10 guys know? They're like, oh, the Bible's written by man. See, Shakespeare wrote the Bible. See, because in the one verse in Psalms it says shake, and then 26 letters later it says spear. And Shakespeare's name in numerology is 26. Somebody told me this. I know. You heard it before? Yeah, Shakespeare's name means it's 26 letters, and there it says shake, and then it says spear. Shakespeare wrote it.
My name in there.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, my slave name is in there too. So that don't mean I wrote that mother. But yeah, so this got multiple kingdoms It's got Egypt. It got Persia, Babylon, Media, Greece, Rome. All of that in here. Potiphar, who was the governor of Jerusalem during the Roman time period, is in the Bible. How the hell are you going to know that?
Right.
How you going to know who the Roman guy? I bet now if you look in the Roman records, Potiphar's in the Roman records.
Right.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, like you were saying on Tuesday, like it is not wise to follow those that are unlearned, that just be spouting out all kinds of nonsense, like the Shakespeare theory, saying people that say that the Bible was written by a white man, like we can't follow these people.
Right. Yeah. Right. So, and like I said, this guy, couldn't no one guy wrote this book. It's just it just covers too much time periods. Right?
So Lucky,
Go ahead.
if I could. I mean, his plays suck, let alone him trying to write something like this.
Right. Like Romeo and Juliet ain't even good.
Right.
So what the hell they on? But yeah, so it's just like too much history. This is a good picture too. Y'all want to see the Sabbath service when y'all be reading about what the Sabbath service look like? It's a good one right here. You see the whole Sabbath, the irons, the pots where they cook where they grilling that big thing, they grilling the meat on.
Mm-hmm. Right, the altar.
Yeah, the altar. And then they got the water, the basin, the sensors and different stuff. See, they got the goat. They bringing up the goat.
Right.
That little goat is Ghana right there. It's as good as done with that for that goat. You get pulled into the altar, boy. It's over. But you see, he got the grill and the fork, and he's poking the meat in this little. That's a serious grill. That ain't no joke. That altar. That mug's huge.
It looks just like the one you showed me and Kunapar in Sabbath Service a few weeks ago.
Yep. It's the same thing. Burnt offering. Yep. All right. So there we go. Trying to see if we got any more timeline stuff. But yeah, if this got all type of timelines in here, all the way to the Roman era, but all based out of the Bible. Like this, this is all got timelines in the scriptures. Look, you got the kings of the United and Divided Kingdoms. Like it got a king for every year when he reigned. Like you can't know one person know all that. That's why somebody say, "Oh, it's just written by man." Like which one guy wrote that? Like how many dudes know who was the king 4,000 years ago?
Right.
You don't even know who was the president 30 years ago.
Right.
Let alone who was the king in another world, another kingdom, a world away. So, but yeah, so the history in this book is so accurate that historians will reference the Bible to match their records or something they find. So if they find something with King Ahasuerus, which is Xerxes or whatever, they'll say, oh, well, look, the Bible said it was around this time. He was a king during that. He was that. Okay, so this is where this came from. So they know. All right, go ahead.
Verse 3. For Mordecai, the Jew, was next unto King Ahasuerus, and great among the Jews, and accepted of the multitude of his brethren, seeking the wealth of his people.
Oh, wait. Read that part again, because this is where people try to. This is something heavy here that people don't realize that's in the Bible. Read that part again.
And accepted the multitude of his
Not
brethren.
that part. The next part down.
Seeking the wealth of his people.
Well, seeking the wealth of who?
Seeking the wealth of his people.
Of who?
Of his people.
You gotta say of his people.
Of his people.
Of who?
Of his people.
No, you gotta say of his people. Like you
his people.
Yeah, emphasis on his. All right. Of who?
Of his people.
Who?
Of his people.
Of his people. You see what I'm saying? So you can't say, oh, it's wrong to not love every race and every people. Mordecai didn't do it. And he did more miracles than any of y'all people out in the world. He done saved the whole race of people. He praying and fasting and great and stuff in the Bible. And he seek the wealth of his people. He didn't seek the wealth all over the world of every race, of every humankind. So Mordecai doing it, then that's what we should do. We shouldn't follow you because you as Mordecai. Your name ain't in the Bible. So for you to tell us we should just love everybody and try to seek the wealth of everybody, and everybody's supposed to have love, and no. We got to do like Mordecai did. He did what? Read it again.
Seeking the wealth of his people.
His people.
And speaking peace to all his seed.
To who?
To all his seed.
To who?
To all his seed.
Yeah. To who?
To all his seed.
To who?
To all his seed.
To his seed. That's his people, not no other people and all people. He's not. What do you get the Nobel Peace Prize for? He loved all people, and he was helping out everybody in the world. Gave him the Nobel Peace Prize. You don't get no peace prize in the Bible if you unless you're doing it. It says speaking peace to who?
To all his people.
All his people.
All his seed.
And all his seed. So there we go. That's it. That's why we come together and eat today. It's a special day. It's a day of memorial. It's a day to remember what happened with our people. And it's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? Esther was bad as hell. And the Spirit of the Lord was with them. And Mordecai was a great man. You know what I mean? He don't get enough shine in my opinion. But I guess because the book is named Esther, so everybody remembers Esther. But Mordecai, he was the man. You know what I mean? He was the man that put it together. All right. So with that, we have any questions about what we just read? All right. With that, I'm going to pass to Trooper Shania. Clap that up. If you could, can you face the camera towards him? Bring it up some. Yeah, you can move the camera a little bit if you want to see. All right, look at that. Yeah, it's perfect. Okay, come on.
ISUPK security announcements.
I was thinking that was the.
We're at ISUPK, starting out 1 West, 125th Street, Home, New York. Rules for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves to the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18 to 21. Malachi 3 and 8 to 10 means tenth in Hebrew. Ma'ashra, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the Treasury Department. Priest funds, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. We ain't got no other holy days besides the Passover.
That's next.
We got the Passover coming up on April 24th. Remind Akim and Akiwa to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pants, headbands, or scarves. With that being said, Amajim, which means to rise. Wapanya Hakidum, which means to turn and face the east.
This way is east, go.
Oh, that was easy. So used to just turning around.
Right.
That was cool. Yeah.
The Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanaw. Shabbat
Shemayim.
Qudash. Hayah. Shimka. Yahweh. Malakuka. Tabaa. Ratazaka. Hayah. Aisha. Ratazah. Kawah. Hayah. Bashamayim. Nathan. Lanaw. Lakam. Call. Yawam. Wasalakinaw. Kasalakinaw. Habashayinaw. Banasai one. A ball. Habashayinaw. Mayan. Rod. Kaya. Lakab. Hamalakwa. Walala. Watapar. Walalanya. Aman. Lord's Prayer in English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come. That will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us of our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not to temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. So be it. The prayer for the ka or the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh. Ba'ashem. Yahushua. Babakashah. Nathanael. Hakah. Larba'ah. Kalmakala. Hakah. Latahar. Hamatazarayim. Hakah. Lahakim. Hamathim. Hakah. All Rakawah. Patamaol. The Gershon. Ba'ashem. Yahushua. The Wada Aman. The Ka in the English. The Ka in the English. Yahweh. In the name of Yahushua. Please give us the power. The power to heal. All manner of sickness. And all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the leper. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. To cast them out. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it. The blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh. Wayawashah. Wam Yaka'ala. Walahayim. Matazab Yah. Aluwap Yahana. Ha'aluwapim. Hasaranya. Hakwatazayayim. Hakayayayim. Alakwatim. Yahweh. Ba'ashem. Yahushua. Wada. Lord's blessing in English. Bless you, Yahweh. And Yahushua. And Michael. And the angels. Commanding Juliana. The general. The captain. The officers. The troopers. And the sisters. Yahweh. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it.
Just the curses, but it should be the anointed prayer and the curses after. No, the anointed prayer. Yeah.
The anointing prayers in the Hebrew. Yabaraka Yahweh. Why Shamarka? Yar Yahweh. Panyo. Oh Yaka. Wayakunka. Yaash. Yahweh. Panyo. Oh Yaka. Wayasham. Lakah. Shalom. Yahweh. Ba'ashem. Yahushua. Barak. Rapah. Magun. Hagun.
The Thurman family.
The
Sutton family.
The
Hill family.
family.
And all the short of Israel. Done.
The McClatchy
family.
The Knicks family.
The
Young family.
The
Cannon family. And all the destroyed of Israel.
Done.
Yeah.
Isaiah, you got any loved ones you want to pray for?
All destroyed of Israel.
All destroyed of Israel.
Done.
The Clifton family.
The Clifton family.
Clifton family.
The Isaiah family.
Isaiah family.
The house of Matarah.
House of Matarah.
The house of Kumpar.
Property. Yeah, you good. Say property Kumpar.
Property of Kumpar.
Property of Kumpar.
All destroyed of Israel.
All destroyed of Israel.
Done.
Done. Says you got all destroyed of Israel. All destroyed of Israel.
By Hashem.
By Hashem.
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
The Wat Aman.
The Wat Aman.
The anointing prayers in English. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bless thee and keep thee.
Bless thee and keep thee.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Make his face shine upon thee.
Make his face shine upon thee.
And be gracious unto thee.
And be gracious unto thee.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Lift up his countenance upon thee.
Lift up his countenance upon thee.
And give thee peace.
And give thee peace.
Yahweh. In the name of
Yahushua.
Bless.
Bless.
Heal. Shield. Protect. The name of the loved ones. The name of the loved ones we just named.
Name of the loved ones we just named. No, the next one is curses.
No, it was the part that I just read off. It's not off. No. I should be curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh.
Blessed are you, Yahweh.
King of heaven and earth.
Heaven and earth.
And all things living.
And all things.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahushua.
In the name of Yahushua.
Listen to us now.
Listen to us now.
Right now.
Right now.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and
And
curses.
punishment and destruction.
Punishment and destruction.
To the heathens.
To the heathens.
That's thy prophets.
Thy prophets.
The teachers.
The teachers.
The princes.
The
priests.
The priests.
The Israelite brothers.
The Israelite brothers.
School.
And the school.
And evils and curses.
And evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
And punishment and destruction.
To the heathen.
To the heathen.
And shake loose treasures.
Shake loose the treasure.
Of the rich.
Of the rich.
Of Israel.
Of Israel.
That refuse to give.
That refuse to get to the school.
Force their riches.
Riches.
Enter into. Thy
sanctuary.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
And punishment and destruction.
To the Edomites.
To the Edomites.
And the nations.
And the nations.
And the drug dealers.
And the drug dealers.
The court system.
The court system.
The prison system.
The prison system.
Parenthood.
Parenthood.
All the governments of our enemies.
All the governments of our enemies.
Amalek synagogues and armies.
Amalek synagogues and armies.
Roman Catholic Church.
Roman Catholic Church.
The Pope.
The Pope.
Islam. Christianity.
Egyptology.
Militia. Ku Klux Klan. Aryan Nation. Skinheads. Hazakomatazi. The gay movement. The lesbian movement. Spies. Workers of witchcraft. NASA space program. Army. Navy. Air Force. Marines. Wall Street. Open up the internet. And the airwaves. And the cable access channel.
And
the radio channel. Convict the spirit. Of any of thy people. That seek to stop us. And bring swift destruction. To all the heathens. That stand in the way. Or try to stop us. Broadcasting your word. Throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues. Cause them to go to and fro. Throughout the earth. And consume them. Let the plague shake loose. The house of the thief. And the murderer. Let Yahushua. Michael. And Gabriel. Come down with the flying saucers. And punish all. The heathen. That come up. Against us. As we speak that word. Cause it to be.
Say cause to be known.
Cause to be known. By all. That is the angels. That have done it. Cause it to be spread. Through the media. Throughout the whole world. Causing the shake. At that coming. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you.
Always.
So be it.
Sar, which means to turn and face the teacher. Call it, Chef.
Men of Israel, Amad Shabbat. Men of Israel, Amad Shabbat. Imagine Barak. Yahweh Shimon Shabbat. Yahweh Shimon Shabbat. Sisters rise. Men of Israel, curse salute to the sisters. Sar. Turn and face the sisters. Man of Israel, Amad Shabbat. Imagine Barak. Yahweh Shimon Shabbat. Yahweh, Shamar, Alathana, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, which means Lord in the crush watch over your sisters. Lashmatah, class dismissed.
See the garage, man? I did that one. So what's up? You see the garage too? You see the garage too?
Just on Facebook. Huh?